No, I know. Okay.
My bad.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Relatable. This is talking about NBA topics and relatable stories. My name is Jeff. My co-host name here is Bradley Krowel.
Yo.
Okay. All right. So first, we start off by talking about this podcast and what's it about. Why you start it off, Brad?
Yeah, so I mean, this shit gonna be about, just NBA topics, stuff like that. Just stuff we go through in our lives. We're gonna be pretty open about it. Let's see.
Yeah, this is
what topics
are going to be
throughout.
Yeah, we're gonna be telling stories. We're both 22. I just graduated college. Bradley is currently serving in the Navy. Tell them where you at right now, Brad.
I'm in Virginia. Shit trash. No, but throughout the podcast, I'll talk about it. So some days we'll discuss my time here, how much fun it is. How much I love it.
How you ended up there?
Yeah, how I ended up.
How about that?
I'm about to get out next year, December. I've been in just over 3. What is it? Yeah, just over 3.5. Gonna hit 4 in December. It's been a wild, long ride. Annoying, but.
All right. And as for me, I just graduated with a psychology degree at Cal Poly Pomona. Right now I'm trying things out, see what sticks. I currently work for delivering and wrapping my car for extra money. And I guess we could tell them how we met. Just to start it off. I believe it was middle school, 6th grade. We both went to Curry Middle School in Tustin, California.
Yeah, shout out
Curry. Shout out Curry. And yeah, so Bradley was a new student. It was like 2-3 weeks into the school season.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting this guy. Well, first I saw this guy when he came in during PE class as a new student. And he was just prepared. He already had his clothes already. He was the only white boy in school. So it was just easy to get along and joke around with him. That's one thing about Bradley, was that he could take a joke.
You're damn right. I get roasted every day, but I definitely take it. Take the shot to the chin. It is what it is.
So yeah. So over the years, me and Brad we didn't really become best friends till 8th grade. And then throughout high school, we hung out off and on. And then he moved, but we still, became friends. And even we went to the Navy, we still kept in contact. And we wanted to talk about basketball, so that's why we decided to start this podcast. Because I guess we could tell them how we got into basketball. Why don't you start us off there, Brad?
Yeah. So honestly, for me, I know he got into basketball way later than me. I mean, when I was younger, my dad would we watched Laker games and shit, so I definitely was into basketball at a young age, 3 type. I mean, obviously I wasn't old enough to make decisions and stuff, but I'd say I really got into it I'd say 2012, because I've been playing pickup games and just in leagues and stuff I'd say since I was around 10, and then I didn't play in high school. But honestly, I've really been. 2012 was really the big year. I feel like once I started getting into that, and then after that, I just started knowing every player on every team. Just learned everything about it. Just love watching it. Super fun. I like football too, but basketball's at that peak level. It's on that top tier.
Yeah. Okay, now for me, well, the first season that I watched was the 2010 season, because I remember my dad would put it on ABC7. We didn't have cable, so he would just put it on. I remember watching Kobe versus the Celtics, and that was my guy. That was our guy for Lakers fans, so that's our guy. Yeah, so I was off and on, and then I didn't really watch it. I watched it off and on till when was it, end of high school, right? When we started talking way more about it.
Yeah. Started getting into Lakers.
Yeah, I started getting like way more into it. But yeah, I'll say I was a casual fan from like 2010 to like 2018. And yeah, the
I'd
past
say
4 years.
I'd, I'd say you got into it when when we had like Bi, Ryan Kelly, like Julius Randle. We had all these.
Yeah,
Ryan
I remember
Kelly's not
watching.
an all star, but
I remember watching like Kobe's like last season. That was like cause stuff like that.
yeah. What was
Uh,
that 2016?
2016, yeah, the
Yeah,
60 point game. Oh man.
yeah. Go.
Yeah, but like, yeah, but then I would say I started watching it when the Lakers got competitive again. They got LeBron.
Yeah, yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest, to be honest,
100%.
but and yeah, I've just been watching way more on other teams, and yeah, so we basically just talk about NBA all day. So here we are starting this podcast. All right,
All right, let's
so
go ahead.
first topic,
Hop into it.
hop into it. So first topic we're talking about. So we want to talk about the NBA offseason 2022. We want to go in chronological order. So the first thing that happened or that popped off was first it was the Kyrie problems, which we'll get into, and then we say the KD trade request happened right before the offseason started.
Yeah.
All right.
Huge deal.
So Brad, tell how you felt about that. Well, first tell us about the Kyrie problems, then tell us how you feel about the KD trade request.
I mean, Kyrie. I mean, let's see. Kyrie. He's just an interesting guy, bro. I mean, to say the least. I respect him because he does what he believes in. But basketball wise, he's not really there for his team. So I get why. I mean, this is definitely why part of the reason James Harden left, which kind of started this whole dethroning of them. And he's obviously an all-star MVP type player, bro. I mean, if he set his mind to it, he could definitely be in that conversation. I mean, he's just, I don't know how to explain it, man. He's definitely affected his team. But I mean, then again, their team's not that good. They don't got a lot of good pieces. So regardless of KD and Kyrie, like their team isn't like, in my opinion, championship contenders. So I mean, I don't know. And then KD wise, I mean, I didn't expect him to request a trade, to be honest. And I thought he was going to get traded, but then I saw that Rudy Gobert shit happen. We'll talk about that later. But he definitely ain't getting traded now. I don't think there's any deal anywhere near his worth.
All right. So my opinion about Kyrie Irving is that he's a great basketball player, but he's a horrible teammate. He's absolutely destroyed the last two franchises he's been with. This is the Nets and the Celtics. Well, he's still on the Nets, but who knows for how long. And then also Cleveland, when you saw what they got back in the Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas trade package. But other than that, he is a great player. I just don't think he has his priorities on basketball, which to me, I think is like, as a player, you're under contract, you should play. You're getting paid millions of dollars. I get that. I'm all for player empowerment and all that, but if you're not playing as a player, then you shouldn't receive the money that you're getting. And I don't see. And his whole issue was that he wasn't receiving the max contract, if I understand correctly. And
yeah,
so
I mean, he got fined a lot too for missing time.
Yeah, he missed out like on half his paycheck, which is he accepted. That's fine, but then trying to get like a max contract, it's crazy to me. After all you've done, after all that you haven't done, really. And as far as KD goes, to this day, we still don't know why he wants to trade request. I don't know if it's because he wants to leave Brooklyn. He doesn't like Brooklyn. He doesn't like the owner, or he doesn't like Kyrie. I don't know what it is. Or he just wants another easy ring. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't get it. He built this team the way he wanted. He got the coach he wanted. He got Marcus Aldridge. He wanted to pick Kyrie as his teammate. He got Blake Griffin. He got all these vets to come. And you mean to tell me that after 2 seasons, right? It's been 3 seasons with the injury season.
Yeah.
That you just want to leave. You just want to jump ship. And this is where I have an issue with KD being discussed in top 10, top 15 of all time because the players in front of him don't do that. LeBron, as much crap as he gets, he's going to finish his contract out. And all the other players in front of him would never just give up after 2 seasons, especially after they did what the front office did, what they wanted. And that's my biggest problem with KD. And as far as what you said, Brad, I personally believe he's still going to be on the Nets starting the season. I don't think he's going to sit out. I don't think he's the type of player. There's no trade package because if you saw what he offered the Rudy Gobert trade, which we will get into, I don't think KD is going to get traded because I don't think anyone's going to give up too much for him because as he's shown, he's not someone who's loyal to our franchise, right? How long did he stay in Golden State? 3 seasons? 3 seasons with the Nets? Like, if you're going to give up like 7, 8, 9 picks for a guy who's going to stay 3 seasons, that's not worth it, in my opinion. And so Tuesday, if I put money on it, I'm saying KD stays on the Nets. I don't know about Kyrie, though, because I could see Kyrie sitting out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could too. I definitely see that.
So,
this is a huge thing, bro. I mean, obviously, KD's like he's obviously won MVP before. He's one of the best. As much as I dislike KD, he's one of the top scorers of all time. That boy's like damn near 7 feet. Lanky as hell. Can score anywhere. He's gotten better with defense. I will say that. I mean, I'm defensive player of the year type, but I mean, he definitely can affect the defense in a good way sometimes. But offensively, man, he's just a freak. But I still hate him. So
why you hate him? Why the same things I said?
Yeah, bro, exactly. I mean, easy ring type thing. And I mean, people say that about LeBron, but that man made 10 finals, or what was it, 9 finals in 10 years? Is that what it was? Or the last 10 finals or something like that?
You see, it's so hard, I have to count it on my fingers. That's how long it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's 8 finals. He made 8 finals. From 2011 to 2018, he made the finals.
Yeah, he went. Anyways, he went crazy, I mean, I don't see KD doing that with his stacked team. I mean, injuries play a part. I mean, I will say that, but every team has injuries, so.
Yeah, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, KD, you want to play against him, this and that." We're not saying he's a bad player by any means.
Yeah.
What you're saying, as far as like all time goes, all the talk, it's hard to put him in top 10, even top 15, in my opinion, based on. I mean, he has skill. He's a talented scorer, but aside from that, he's good at everything else. He's not elite. He's not an elite defender. He's not an elite playmaker. He's not an elite rebounder. Not an elite defender. I already said that. Not an elite leader by any means. And as far as that goes, he's just a top scorer who's give you 30, 35 easily. But there's some nights we can't do that. And maybe we'll get into it later in the podcast. But as far as KD, like leaving Oklahoma and this and that, he left just being a great scorer. And other than that, but there are times where he's not a great scorer, as we saw in this past playoffs.
And where he got swept.
They stopped him.
Yeah.
You can't tell me you're elite and you had one great game in your playoffs.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, that was the 4 years that you played. You can't tell me you're elite. And I know that Celtics defense was probably the best in the playoffs, maybe, but it's not like some all-time defensive team that stopped you. It was Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and Al Horford. Come on,
we're not talking shit on, obviously they're good defenders. Like, I know Jalen Brown's been a good defender since he joined. Tatum's obviously gotten better, but they're not like Kawhi Leonard type players or Giannis, it's not like that.
Yeah, so that's it as far as it goes for the KD trade request. The next topic we want to talk about is top 5 signings of the off season. So Bradley, why don't you start us off? So start off with your 5th, and we'll go down from there.
Our 5th. I mean, honestly, I didn't put these in order, but let's see. I'll say 5th. I'll say Portis, Bobby Portis, staying with the Bucks. I think that's a huge. I think that's pretty important because he fits. He just fits that grit and grind. I feel like mindset and just that attitude that the Bucks need on their bench. I mean, he'd be starting for them now, right? He'd be starting for him.
Depending on the matchup, he starts.
Yeah.
Depending on the matchup.
Yeah, but I mean, off the bench, just overall, I want him on my team. I mean, just his big ass eyes, stuff like that. But no, I think that was really important. I think he got a good deal too. He got the money he deserves. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to help the Bucks out. Just keep that championship contending team like consistently.
Yeah, tough. I agree with you. Bobby Portis, he's like what every team should want. Just an energy guy. Every once in a while could go off, and he makes you versatile. You can play him at the 5, you can stretch the floor, or you can play him at the 4 and have him be more of a bruiser, have him rebound. Yep. And so I think. And what was the contract? It was like 4 years. It was a 4-year contract.
4-year, so 49 mil, I think.
That's a steal in my eyes. I take him like 15 million a year.
Exactly.
And but we know he loves Milwaukee, so obviously he's gonna take a pay cut to stay there. And I completely agree. I think that makes the Bucks a great team. I re-signed him. One of my top 5 signings, I would say, is Kyle Anderson to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I have a big opinion about the Minnesota Timberwolves this season. We'll get into it later when we talk about the Gobert trade.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Anyways, Kyle Anderson. Yeah, so Kyle Anderson, I believe it was a 2-year. They gave him the mid-level exception, I think. 2 years, 18 mil, 19 million. And I think he's a great starter for them. He's going to fit perfectly in their starting lineup of D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, himself, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. I think he's a perfect playmaker, perfect defender. He's going to make their defense better, in my opinion. Perfect, like, fourth scorer on your team. Give you 10 or 15 points. And he can also ISO if you need him to. And I just think he's a perfect, like Swiss Army knife player that they need. And they're for sure going to be a top 10 defense in my eyes with that lineup that they got going on now. I just think those underrated, but also a perfect get for that team.
Yeah, plus, I mean, I agree with all that. And I think it also feeds the fire because they kind of have a new rivalry now, Grizzlies and the Timberwolves after that playoff matchup. It was definitely, I'd say top 3 probably of matchups in the playoffs this year. Like just that whole round. They're obviously both young. They're both fucking deadly. They got 2 young stars. And definitely, probably total, they got like 4, or like 5. You got Desmond Bane, you got John Morant, you got Jaren Jackson, and then on the Timberwolves, you got Anthony Edwards and Cat. And them stealing Kyle Anderson is actually, I think, pretty huge for the Timberwolves and kind of a downgrade for the Grizzlies, in my opinion. He definitely fit really well there.
Kyle Anderson, the Minnesota Timberwolves, which makes me excited for that team. All right, tell us your 4th.
All right, 4th. I'm gonna put Rubio signing back to the Cavs. I think that was an underrated signing because before he tore his ACL, I want to say, or his Achilles or something. He got injured out for the year. Before that, though, the Cavs were on a tear. Like they still made the playoffs. No, they didn't even make the playoffs. My bad. They made the play-in, but they were. I think before he got injured, they were definitely a top 5 seed, and I think he just fits really perfectly. I mean, just working with Darius Garland, like kind of like a vet. I just think he fits perfectly. He's a very underrated player, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ricky Rubio. He for sure. It was, I believe, reported that he was going to sign back after he got traded. He did very, very well with that young core. He's a great veteran and leader for that young core. And they could probably make the playoffs. They probably are going to make the playoffs this season.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially
yeah,
with Evan Mobley still ascending. I mean, they definitely
Evan
will. And
Mobley.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great signing just for the keep continuity, and it makes them all right playoffs.
Yeah.
Definitely a playoff team. So as my fourth goes, I put PJ Tucker to the Philadelphia 76ers. So
Okay.
the contract isn't great. It's 3 years, 30 million for a 37-year-old PJ Tucker. But as far as this season goes, I don't think he's gonna have a huge drop off, which is crazy to say because he's gonna turn 38. But as far as that team goes, he fits perfectly. Another Kyle Anderson thing. There's just a role player that fits perfectly in your starting lineup that makes you better. Their starting lineup will probably be Harden, Maxey, Tobias, PJ, and Joel Embiid.
Yep.
Shooting and defense around Harden and Embiid, which is absolutely perfect. And this guy is also one of the peskiest defenders in the league. We saw what he did in the playoffs with the Miami Heat. He absolutely gets under top wings. He can defend top wings. He give you corner threes at a pretty respectable clip. And yeah, I just believe that he fits that starting five. And also, long term, the contract's not gonna be great. He's gonna be 40 million. I mean, he's gonna be 40 years old, getting $10 million.
Yeah.
But specifically for this season, and also he's an ex Daryl Morey guy. He played with Harden in Houston, so he knows the system. He knows what they want, and yeah, I think he's just gonna be perfect for that starting lineup specifically.
Yeah, honestly, I think he fits more with the Sixers than he did with the Heat, especially playing with Harden before. And I mean, he just stretches the floor more with Embiid, and because like Embiid and Bam, you know, they're different players. Like Embiid, I feel like can shoot way better from outside than Bam can. Bam's got a decent mid range, you know, but I mean, he ain't like shooting, he ain't MVP caliber with like Embiid is, you know. With the Sixers, I didn't have it in my top 5 signings. It's important to the Eastern Conference, you know, but I mean, and the Sixers obviously themselves, but I don't think it's top 5 significant, in my opinion.
I think it's significant just because it fits the starting five. If they don't have PG Tucker, who else are they going to put in the 5?
Yeah, that part's true.
Because off the bench, I believe they have De'Anthony Melton, which I also think is a good underrated pick. I'm not going to top 5.
Yeah, that was great.
He's a great for that bench because they didn't have one. And then who's coming off the bench? Shake Milton. What else they have? Paul Reed. They wouldn't have anybody who's starting for that team if they didn't get PJ Tucker, which is why I'm saying like the contract they gave him wasn't great.
No.
But they had to specifically for this season. So yeah, I think if you're a starter, it makes you a significant sign for a contender.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, round off my third. I had Jalen Brunson. Not the Knicks part, but I think it's more important that he left the Mavs. My opinion. I think he was obviously, bro. He led them to those 2 wins against the Jazz. He put them in a 2-1 series lead. That boy dropped like 40 back to back.
It was crazy.
Yeah, he was just going like he's a great player, bro, and I think he just fits super well with like Luka, and Luka's a future fit. This might get hate, I don't know, but I mean, this man has a potential to become the GOAT, in my opinion. I think he can definitely win multiple. I think he definitely shut up. He can definitely win multiple rings.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy.
Oh, you said, oh. Yeah, so I just think, you know, obviously he fit really well with Luka. I mean, the Knicks, bro, the Knicks are the Knicks. I don't know. I mean, good for him for getting the bag, but I mean, I saw that he was also offered around the same by the Mavericks. I don't know how true that is, but I definitely think it's a big loss for them, and it's definitely going to affect their seeding.
Who, the Mavericks?
Yeah.
So personally, when you think about it more, it's honestly a really great signing for the Knicks. And it's funny because they gave Crown that a lot because they're the Knicks. And it's funny that Jalen Brunt is really good. player. Right now, he's seen as like a starter role player, and it's really funny that the Knicks moved cap space for that type of player. and but yeah, he also has connections there. As far as the GM goes, I think overall that the Knicks signing of Jalen Brunt is honestly a really good contract, like 25 a year, 26, 27. And I think that's honestly perfect market for him. And the Mavs are getting him for 5 years, 120, something like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Mavs messed up in my opinion because they had a chance to extend him during the season. And I believe it was a way cheaper contract, like 4 years, 60. I don't know the number exactly, but they could have had him on a cheaper contract with and not lose him. But they decided to let the season play out. He balled out, destroyed the Jazz, owned the Jazz. He's the owner of the Utah Jazz.
Yes.
And then Luka became the owner of the Phoenix Suns. We'll get into that. And then, as far as Jalen Brunson goes, good for him, man. He secured the bag. It's awesome seeing a player who was playing for a couple million get a bag and when they deserve it. And yeah, especially because he's gonna get the opportunity, like you said. It's great for him. He could, honestly, in my eyes, he could be like a borderline all-star type player.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think he's definitely gonna take the Knicks to play-in. At least in my opinion. I think they could be like an 8, 9, 10 seed, which sounds like very little, but for the Knicks, that's a lot considering the season they had last year.
Yeah, exactly. After making the playoffs the year before.
Yeah, the whole Julius Randle experience has been working out there.
All right, go ahead with your third.
What was
that? Your third. Your third signing?
Can I say third? I said PJ.
I thought that was your fourth.
Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, you just said Kyle and PJ.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to my second. All right. My second, damn, I don't know. My 2 and 1 are kind of close. I'm gonna give you both. I'm just gonna give you both. So my top 2, I put Zion signing for his extension, and then I had Brogdon to the Celtics.
I mean, Brogdon wasn't a sign though; it was a trade.
Yeah, I put that in there as a a filler. So it's I know it's not a no. I came up with other ones. Like I had Otto Porter, I had Gary Payton, I had Gallo signing, but I mean like
sorry, I'll just get back on my list. Let me tell you my third. So my third is actually pretty big in my opinion. Juan Toscano Anderson for the Lakers. Now I'm being a little homer here and I'm picking this guy, but as a Lakers fan, and this is not a Lakers podcast, but I'm just gonna be biased here for a little bit. Juan Toscano Anderson is exactly what we've needed on this team. Last year, people convinced themselves it was going to be Trevor Ariza as a 3-and-D wing, my buddy included.
Yes.
And I knew that he was washed up. He's been washed up since Houston. And I knew it wasn't going to work out, and it didn't work out. And Juan Toscano Anderson, honestly, I believe is huge because it makes the Lakers versatile. Like if you could put him on the starting lineup at 3, then have LeBron AD. Or if you want to play big, you have him come off the bench and be an energizer. He's also young, so he's not going to wear out during the season like a lot of players did last year. His three-point percentage is not great, but I think with the type of looks he's going to get from LeBron and from Anthony Davis having a lot of attention down low, I think he'll get a lot of opportunities, and I think he's just the type of guy to go not be shy and take the shot. So that's still to be seen. Other than that, his energy on defense is going to be infectious. It's going to be perfect. I just think that's huge for a team that's trying to contend. I wouldn't say they're contenders right now. I'm not saying Fonz going to put them in contention. Be the perfect like 5th, 6th, 7th guy on your championship team, and they won't move away from being that type of team. and Juan just fits perfectly for the Lakers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think his signing and then Lonnie Walker are both like really big for the Lakers. And you're right, everything you said about Juan Toscano Anderson, bro, is spot on. And plus, he just came off a ring, so I mean that definitely helps with the the maturity level that he'll bring. Even though he's still young, like I mean that's huge, bro. He's been playing with champions since he joined the league with Steph, Draymond, Curry. I mean Steph, Draymond, Clay, and I mean that definitely helps. But I mean I think Lonnie Walker is really big too for us because he's a shooter. That boy's athletic as hell. And I mean he was under Pop. Pop is the GOAT.
I don't know if he's a shooter. I don't know if
he can definitely shoot. He can definitely shoot.
Shot 31% last year.
He can definitely. I trust him. I trust him. He can shoot, bro.
Just trust.
I trust him, and I trust Russ, and I trust everyone.
You trust who?
Shut up, bro. We're not getting into that today. But of course, I love my boy Westbrook. I get mad at him, but I believe in him.
I don't know how you believe in him, but I guess that's a different podcast. But
all right, you got a number 1 and 2. You just spit both of them out.
Yeah, so your number one and 2 was, what was it again?
Zion. I think Zion was huge.
Well, yeah. And then you just have a trade of your last one.
I mean, yeah. I put that trade in there, but whatever. I think that's. We'll get into that.
No,
we'll get into that after this. Actually.
No. Let me speak on that a little bit. Actually, I have something to say about that. About Malcolm Brogdon. That's huge. I do agree. It's perfect for them because they needed a ball handler because they're in the playoffs. I believe they're a top team with turnovers. Like they're just the ball over all the time. Malcolm Brogdon, ball handler. As far as that goes, I could get him for the 26th pick in the draft. In my opinion, I know the Pacers were trying to clear cap space for DeAndre Ayton, who they were trying to give a max to, but that didn't work out. Which is something we'll get into about the Suns, which is later podcast. That's my understanding, because also Christian Wood was traded for a late first round pick. Well, how are these? I see them as like starters, like role playing good starters, maybe potential borderline all stars on a really good, season. My thing is that like a lot of teams have been trading their role players for like kind of shitty packages, because the 26th pick in the draft, a majority of the time they don't end up even making the team for longer than a season. So that's great pick. I agree, but I still have no idea how the Celtics got it. I have no idea how that happened. I don't know why that's possible, but I know
they gave him
too, but
they gave the Celtics the exact player that they needed.
All right, so number 2, I have Bruce Brown going to the Denver Nuggets for 2 years, $13 million. As a Lakers fan, I think any contending team should be throwing their hands up saying, how did we not get Bruce Brown? Because for that money. Because I thought he was going to go for more. I thought he was going to get a 4-year contract. And he's a perfect role player, like the perfect role player. He's been getting better. He's a great defender. He can also roll to the rim and finish at the rim at a high percentage, like a center. Yeah. And he does all the dirty work. He rebounds. He's going to score double digits. And he can be in your starting role, and he can come off the bench. It's another player that I'm putting in this PJ Tucker, Kyle Anderson type role, because he fits perfectly in the starting lineups as your 4th and 5th guy, right? I value some more stuff because if your 4th and 5th guy suck, you're putting a lot more pressure on the top 2-3 players on your squad. So to me, Bruce Brown being, what would you say, like the 4th, 5th, it would be Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Eric Gordon, and Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
So So the starting lineup will be like what? Like Jamal. Actually, I don't know because they call KCP.
No, they got
So he might
KCP.
start.
Yeah, I think KCP will start. I think Bruce Brown will be off the bench. He'd probably come off the bench
Okay.
with Ish Smith as well, because they got Ish too.
Well, that's what makes it even more perfect. They got more depth now around Nikola Jokic, and that's been the problem the last season, 2 seasons basically, was that doesn't have enough help. Nikola Jokic to me is a top 5 player in this league, and the fact that he's been able to carry. If you take Nikola Jokic off that squad, that squad is not even in the playoff discussion.
Hell no.
Because the second best player is Aaron Gordon, because Jamal Murray and PJ were injured.
Yeah.
You add those 2 scorers who are 20 plus a night with Jokic, who's a 30-point triple-double. And then you add guys who give you 10, 15 points in Bruce Brown and KCP. That just makes him more lethal on offense. And 100%. I just think and then Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I think over time, if they can stay healthy, they're a contender, in my opinion. They could be a top 3 they're a top 3 in the West if they stay healthy. With Bruce Brown either starting and coming off the bench. He's so versatile, you could have him do both.
I think they're a contender this coming up year, in my opinion. I mean, honestly, I thought they would do better than last year. I think they're going to do better last year, but I mean, obviously, injuries affected them pretty big. I thought Jamal was coming back, but he didn't, and then the Warriors picked them apart. But
poor Jokic, man. He's been just carried his team to the playoffs and getting destroyed.
And that boy's getting triple doubles like nuts too.
And then playoffs they just defend them, and it's like it's over. And so my top, I guess since you picked the trade, I'm gonna pick a trade, and there's actually a perfect segue to our next topic. Yeah, my number 1 move this offseason was the Rudy Gobert trade from the Utah Jazz to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I know a lot of people are going to talk smack, saying they overpaid, which I agree they did. It was 5 first-round picks. Help me out here. It was Patrick Beverly, Vanderbilt.
Malik Beasley. I think they had Pat Bev, Malik Beasley, and then I know I think they had 2 more players, and then they had like fucking 5 picks.
It was like the first-round pick. It was a player. I forgot his name, but he's a center. Basically replaced Rudy Gobert.
Was it Naz Reid?
No. Well, I think maybe he was in there, but it was a first-round pick. They just picked this year. He's a center.
I'm gonna pull it up just because.
Well, anyway, and 5 first-round picks, 20, and I know a lot of people are gonna talk smack, but hear me out. For Minnesota Timberwolves, this franchise who has been in the playoffs twice the last 20 seasons, basically, and for the majority of their existence have been just a trash franchise who could barely get in the playoffs, right? They've never been true contenders, except maybe 2004.
Yeah.
But aside from that, they've never been true contenders. They've been the laughingstock of the league the past 15 years, and this trade is much more than just trying to contend. It's about a team, a franchise, just trying to be a perennial playoff team year after year after year. You can't tell me that starting lineup of D'Angelo Russell, who I think is replaceable, honestly, in this team.
Yeah, he is.
And Anthony Edwards, Cal Anderson, Cat, Rudy Gobert, who are all in their prime, by the way. They're all 30 or lower in age. You can't tell me that this team can't make the playoffs the next 5 seasons. Right?
No, I agree with that. I just don't think they're top. I don't think they're top 3, top 5. I don't see them being top 5.
Okay. Let me get into that a little bit. But as far as like overpaying, I do agree they overpaid. But for a franchise that's this bad, I think you do that so you could finally have success of year after year after year. Whether it's making the playoffs or making a Western Conference Finals, I believe that's very valuable for this team.
Yeah.
So that's why I love the trade because the Rudy Gobert, he's someone who doesn't get injured either. And he's going to make you a top 10 defense. I know he's overrated in many aspects and getting defensive player of the year when he has a defensive weakness in defending the perimeter. But as far as defending the rim, which is all he has to do in this team, that's all he has to do, which he's great at. He'll make you a top 10 defense. With Anthony Edwards getting better, Kyle Anderson, who I mentioned earlier, people are going to think I'm a Timberwolves fan now, but like, this is that defense. And then Cat will see how he could handle the perimeter. And then D'Lo, who I think he gets too much flack for how much of a bad defender he is, but he's not a turnstile by any means. He's going to be better than Donovan Mitchell or Mike Conley or last year. So that's an upgrade for Rudy Gobert. That's an upgrade for him. Yeah. You're going to actually, do one for the team. And as far as for next season goes, listen, when you break down the teams in the West, it's kind of open. We have the Golden State, who are the champions, right? We got the Clippers, who have depth everywhere, right? We have the Nuggets, who, if healthy, in my opinion, can be a top 3 seed. And then who's the next best team? The fourth. Probably the Pelicans, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I put the Grizzlies ahead of. I put the Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Lakers ahead of them. To see it.
Oh, you're tripping. No. Because
I see it.
I put the Pelicans. Okay, listen, look at the Grizzlies and the Lakers, right? The Grizzlies, you even said it, right? They got worse. Right?
Yeah, I think they're the close. I think them and the Timberwolves are the closest team, but I think the Pelicans and Lakers beat them easily.
Well, my team, the Grizzlies got worse because they lost a lot of good role players like Milton Anderson. Plus, Jaren Jackson's going to miss the first couple of months. And who knows how the injury's going to turn out. This has happened before where he said he's going to come back and doesn't come back. So who knows how that's going to be. He's had a lot of injuries. And so I'm not going to trust that. And then as far as the Lakers go, tell me which starting lineup is better right now. Russell Westbrook, who even is starting 2 guards for the Lakers? Like, who?
Lonnie Walker.
Okay, Lonnie Walker, I guess. LeBron, AD, and like Thomas Bryant, right?
Yeah.
Is that better than D'Angelo Russell, give you 20 a night, 7 assists, Anthony Edwards, who's going to get better, he's a great defender, Kyle Anderson, Cat, and Rudy Gobert? Tell me which starting lineup is better.
I'm telling you, I'm a Lakers fan. We're Lakers. LeBron and AD healthy?
Which team do you think is going to be more healthy?
We're talking. Okay, I get that. We're talking hypothetical, but they're both healthy. I'm saying they're both healthy. Which one are you taking? I'm taking the Lakers.
I think the Timberwolves.
All right. I mean, there you go. I don't know.
LeBron and AD are gonna have to carry Westbrook on their back and just go absolutely God mode on the Timberwolves.
Yes, I take them.
Okay.
They can do that.
No, Rudy, I don't see it because they got defenders to get them. Because you got Cat and Rudy now defending Anthony Davis.
Doesn't matter, bro. Cat can't defend AD at all.
I'm saying Cat and Rudy Gobert.
Not gonna double team with them.
By winning a double team.
With both of them with 2 centers?
You're gonna leave him open. You're gonna leave Russ open.
No. Listen, I'm saying yes, you can double team with Russ's defender. Yes, obviously. Russ can't
Which is going to be Cat because Russ is not a threat from the outside. So they're going to put Cat on him.
That's going to leave the paint open.
No, he's going to be in the paint. What are you talking about?
I'm saying, okay, listen. I'm putting, AD's posting up in the left side, right? AD's posting up. You're saying who's his primary defender? Rudy?
Rudy.
Okay, Rudy's his primary defender. Rudy's right outside of the paint. You have Russ throw that little toss, all right? Because they're not in the paint. He's posted up like kind of further out because he likes to do those fadeaways. He backs down, does a little fadeaway. He does
Okay, and then you put
fucking
Cat. Okay,
and you
have him
Cat
do fadeaways.
doubles.
He hasn't.
You got a cutter. You got people cutting, bro. Paint's open.
How's the paint open?
Rudy's not in the paint. Rudy's double teaming with AD. He's double teaming AD with
Cat. Who's gonna cut?
The fucking goat. What do you mean?
LeBron?
LeBron's cutting,
when
bro.
You have defender, when you have defender, Kyle Anderson on.
I've seen LeBron get past double teams, bro. It doesn't matter. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna draw a foul. Some shit's gonna happen. It's just how it works, bro. The defense is gonna rotate. All right, pass it back onto Russ. Russ fucking drives. Defense is gonna rotate. Someone's gonna be open. All right, pass it out to a shooter. That's just how it's gonna work.
No one's gonna rotate because it's Russell Westbrook.
Not if he shoots. If he drives, yes, people are rotating. It's just natural. It's a natural instinct.
He's not gonna drive though. He's not gonna drive though. Has he driven? How many times have he shot a dumb shot?
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna diagnose when they play the fucking Timberwolves. We're diagnosing the whole fucking game. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna come back to this and realize I'm right.
Anyways, let me get back to my point. So Lakers are not better than Timberwolves. I'm sorry to say that. I know you believe in Russ. I know you have this delusion. I know a lot of people do because the triple doubles. He's absolutely amazing when he's on, right? But when he's off, he's off, and that's something else I want to talk about. When he gets overrated when it comes to his mentality. People, Charles Barkley, Shaq, everyone's like, oh, Russ, he's a top player of all time because he just gives you energy and every single minute of the game.
Yeah, that I don't agree with. That like energy wise, yes, but he's not like a top like 20 of all time. It's crazy. That's crazy.
That's another thing. People overrate him because they say like, oh, he doesn't. Oklahoma fans, overrate him because they remember that guy who got triple doubles. It was absolutely intense every single minute. And I'm telling you, when it's off, when it's not going his way, we saw this last year a lot. He doesn't care about defense. He's like the days ago there. He is a stat stuffer. He goes for steals and he shouldn't go for steals. He goes for rebounds over his centers. And that's why I personally just want Russ off the team because it's not even just he's not a perfect fit. I think he's just a bad teammate at this point because he only cares about, like he said on the press conference after the season ended. He thought it was a bad season because of he didn't get a triple double.
Yeah,
nothing's more selfish to me than talking about not getting your stats this season. And that's why I used to love Russ like that, how you do, but I don't anymore because I should see him as a more selfish player at this point in his career. And if he can't get past that, I hope he gets past that. I hope he does become a good, play his role like Donovan Ham says and play defense and like be ferocious. But I just don't see at this point. He's 33, 32. He's not gonna change. And as far as that goes, it goes back to my point about the Timberwolves. So they're better than the Lakers. That leaves them the top 4 seed, in my opinion. Between the Golden State, New Orleans Pelicans, the Nuggets, and them. And as far as the
Clippers,
Clippers.
So then they're 5. Yeah, then they'll be 5. They'd be 5.
No. But the thing is, injuries. I don't trust the Clippers being injury free.
I'm saying injury free though. We put in this injury free.
No, but the thing is about that team, they haven't been healthy the second they've gone together.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
so
what have they been together? 3 years? Since the 4th?
I don't know how many games Kawhi and Paul George have played together. I feel like it's like less than a season.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say the Timberwolves are better than that team because they just have more healthy players. They just do. Rudy Gobert doesn't get injured. Cat doesn't really get injured. Anthony Edwards doesn't get injured. He's young. Kyle Anderson doesn't get injured. The only one gets injured is D'Lo, but he's replaceable in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and you got Golden State, who I don't believe will care too much about the season, seeding wise. So I think they got a chance to be a top 3 seed, and that's why I think that's actually make the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. And that's why I believe the Rudy Gobert trade is the biggest trade this season for this season and for the future of the Timberwolves. They might end up having to give up that 2029 pick, maybe the 2027 pick. But I think it was worth it to make the playoffs 4 or 5 seasons in a row and then being in the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, yeah, it'll definitely help like the Timberwolves, but I mean, I can see, injury wise, I can see them being like top 5. All right, top 5, but that's a regular season team, bro. You saw when the Bucks were number 1 seed those first 2 years.
Yeah,
that was it. They were a regular season team. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, but you're saying Western Conference Finals too. They are not making the Western Conference Finals. They're not.
I think they could possibly make it. I'm not saying they're going to the finals. I'm saying probably Western Conference Finals.
They might get out the first round. They might.
They will get out the first round. You're tripping right there, my guy.
Nah, it's a maybe. The West is too deep. West is too deep. They can get a bad matchup.
I disagree with that. I think they're better than the Grizzlies are right now, and they almost beat them last year.
I don't know. It's just it's a tough like. They can beat them, obviously, yeah. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
You should
no, I don't. I don't like Cat either, but I love Anthony Edwards. And I think Timberwolves are a good young team. I've always liked D'Lo since he came, since we get drafted him, But I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, but I've been wrong before. I mean, I've said some dumbass takes, and I've been wrong. I'll admit that. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I definitely don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think Rudy does not play in the playoffs. He can't. He's irrelevant.
I think, but the thing about this team is that it's better for him than the Utah Jazz. They mask what he sucks at, right? They're a way better defensive team on the perimeter. Don't you agree? Than the Utah Jazz.
Yes.
They got more scores.
Yes.
They got more scores on that team than the Utah Jazz, right?
Yeah.
Because it was only Donovan Mitchell and then maybe Clarkson, maybe Conley, and Bogey giving you 15.
Yeah.
Now you got Cat, Anthony Edwards, and D'Lo possibly give you 20 each. So I actually believe that team is better suited for Rudy Gobert. And I don't even like Rudy Gobert.
Playoff wise, though, like they're scoring wise in playoffs, right? Cat does not perform. He performed what? Let's be honest. 2 games. Didn't he have a game where he had 8 points? And Anthony Edwards is fucking a 2-year dropping 40. Anthony Edwards is the best player on that team.
Yeah, he is. I completely agree. Here's my issue with the Cat slander. He's still a young player. You're just gonna give up on him after 2 bad playoffs?
I mean, that's what happens with all the other players. I mean, it's what people do.
I don't think you give up on a generational talent. Tell me another big man who's shooting.
He's not a generation. No, he's not a generational talent.
He's not a generational big guy who shoots 40. Tell me another big guy who shot 40+% from 3.
Did Chris Bosh not do that? I really don't know.
No, he didn't. Certainly every year now.
I don't know. I mean, dude, I just can't. This
guy.
I'm biased.
This guy averaged 25 and 12 at his peak. What do you mean you tell me he's not generational?
I'm biased. Just biased. I don't know.
Well, that's okay. Well, you're wrong. Well,
I can't get past it.
All right. If you just don't like the Timberwolves, but you just don't like Cat and Rudy Gobert.
Agreed.
All right. If they do become a top 3 seed, I'm a bet that you have to get on here and you have to say the Timberwolves Awoo sign with me. All right.
Well, what's the bet on though? Like, what's the criteria?
Top 3 seed. That would be a
top 3.
Top 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Top 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Top 3. All right, bet.
All right. You have to come on here. You have to give me the big one, not like a little. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
All right, I'll do that. Top 3.
Okay. All right, we got to move on to the next topic. We're running out of time. So the next topic we're gonna talk. So it's clear that Donovan Mitchell is on the trade market right now. So what we decided to do is create our own trade packages for Donovan Mitchell. Now these trade packages have to be realistic. We'll do 2 each. They have to be realistic. We'll do one realistic one and one that we would like to see. It has to be to contenders specifically. And why don't you start us off with that, Brad?
I know you start us off. I definitely don't have a great one yet. So
You're so prepared.
because the one I got is the one that I want to say last, because that's like the one I want to see.
Okay. All right, so I think a realistic one. Obviously, the New York Knicks have been the front runners for this, for Donovan Mitchell, because he's a New York guy. So as far as the trade package goes, I think something that's realistic is Quentin Grimes, Derrick Rose, Julius Randle. I believe that shouldn't be enough. I'm not sure. I think Julius Randle, Quentin Grimes, and Emmanuel quickly. And I think 5 first-round picks, all unprotected for Donovan Mitchell. So with that, I think that's fair for both sides, because the Knicks, it depends how badly the Knicks want Donovan Mitchell, right? And it seems like they do really want him, right? But as far as leverage goes, they have all the leverage. So maybe they don't have to beat the Rudy Gobert trade, which is what I think Danny Ainge is trying to do in Utah. He's trying to get a better package than the Rudy Gobert package for Donovan Mitchell, because he is a better player.
But that's not going to happen. I don't think.
But the thing
not
is,
as many picks, at least. Not as many picks.
I think that you give up the same amount of picks. In my scenario, giving up 5 for 5, and you're giving up a little bit more younger talent. But in this scenario, the Knicks hold on to RJ Barrett. They get rid of Randall, who they don't want New York anymore after. Oh man, what a crazy turn of events, because he was a hero there 2 years ago, and now he's just wants out. And and that's a lot of picks. But it's Donovan Mitchell we're talking about, a guy who averaged 25 easily. And I know people are going to say a lot about the backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunt. They're too small, and this and that. But I'd argue that as far as they're both committed on that side, and they have better defenders on the front court, like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, protecting the paint, then they should be okay. And with Tom Thibodeau as a coach, I don't know how long he's going to be coached there, but I think they could be not a great defensive team, but they could definitely be middle of the pack team. And if their offense is, offsets that with Donovan Mitchell, then they could be a perennial playoff team. Like, they don't have to go through the play-in. And they could start with this package, and maybe RJ Barry gets better, or maybe another superstar in the future sees them, sees how great they're doing, and decides to join, maybe like KD. And so that's why I think this is a great trade package for both. And then Utah gets 5 first-round picks that they could, and on top of the 5 they already have from Rudy Gobert. So that's 10 first-round picks for 2 guys. That's incredible. That's
an OKC. Point an OKC. They're doing those picks.
Sam Presti's getting jealous right now.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna say one, but I think this is what I want to see, and I think it's realistic, is to the Heat. Obviously, I throw in Harrow, I throw in Duncan Robinson, I throw in their new pick, Nikola Jovic, and I throw in 3 picks. And you probably add in Max Strus, or I forget the other dude's name. You got Max Strus and that other guy that was
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent. One of them. I think that's not a bad pick. I don't think it's bad. Tyler Herro's still young. He can definitely be. He's obviously a scorer.
The reports out here are saying that Utah's not interested in Tyler Herro like that.
I'm just saying what I want to see. Okay. I want to see Donovan I want to see Donovan in a Heat jersey. I want to see him in Miami. I think him and Jimmy just would really complement each other.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see that too.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that gets it done, because Tyler Herro, I think, in my opinion, Tyler Herro is a great player. He's not going to be, maybe he could be a borderline all-star on his peak, but his defense, man, it just sucks. His defense just sucks.
Yeah. Knicks package is better. I will say that. But
yeah, it is. But as far as that goes, I would love to see Donovan Mitchell and Jimmy Butler and Bam. He would fit perfectly, honestly, because it would be Kyle Lowry, Donovan Mitchell, Jimmy Butler. I don't know who just got started at the 4 anymore because PJ left. And then Bam.
Yeah.
But that's perfect. They just need
Unless they do Bam at the 4 and they do like fucking Deadman.
But they don't have a backup for that.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, backup. Well, we'll see, but that would be perfect fit because they really struggled offensively during the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that would definitely help. I just don't think that trade package gets it done because Ainge probably doesn't want Tyler Hero like that. And then you're gonna need to have more picks if you're gonna put Tyler Hero over like the young players from the Knicks.
Yeah, Knicks definitely got a better package in that regard.
Tell us what you want to see.
That is what I want to see.
Oh, what was the realistic one?
No, I don't have a realistic. I mean, the realistic one is really just the Knicks. That's the only team I see realistically getting them.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same package. I mean, that's the only team I really see actually making.
Let's actually move on to the last section because it's been over an hour, I think. So to end the podcast, we're just gonna do a quick prediction for the rest of our off season. So this is until the season starts around October. What do you think will happen? Any trades? Kyrie, KD, Donovan Mitchell, any other players that you low-key think are gonna leave or will be traded?
Let's see. Who are we still waiting? Who's still a free agent? I think Trez is still a free agent. Damn, there's some.
Miles Bridges is still a free agent.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, he's gonna be free agent the rest of his life, bro.
Lifetime free agent.
I'm trying to see who's still a free agent right now because I mean, I kind of want to make a. Let's see. Oh, Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, I don't know if he goes anywhere. I'm surprised. I will say I'm surprised, and Colin Sexton is too. He's restricted, but I mean, still, I think I'm surprised Trez hasn't gotten signed because I think Trez is actually a. So I think Trez
got in trouble. Trez got in trouble
with the weed, the drug charge.
Yeah, the drug charges.
But I mean,
I think that play a role.
Let's see. So I think KD's staying. I honestly don't see. I do see Donovan getting traded. Donovan will be a Knick. I see Kyrie staying until the season starts. I think the Lakers. I think we signed Melo. I think we're gonna sign Melo to our last spot. I think we got one spot left. Let's see what else. I don't really see any more trades happening. I haven't really heard anything on the trade block. I don't really see any players getting like a big blockbuster or anything like that happening. I think most teams are pretty solid where they're at right now.
I think there's gonna be one more. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is gonna be traded. That seems pretty obvious. I think if I were to put money on it, I would say the Knicks. Yeah. Just because just no other team that's willing to do so much either for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
No contending team, right? But I think Kyrie's gonna get traded to the Lakers. Okay. And that's because you don't know what Kyrie Irving. He's the type of player who could sit out, right? And I know as far as leverage goes, the Nets are looking at the Lakers saying, LeBron. Oh, that's another thing. LeBron's gonna sign for a 1 more year extension because I'm not even trying to. It's not even that. I think it's mainly because I think he wants to stay in LA. He hasn't shown any. He's not gonna go back to Cleveland. He's not. Where else is he gonna sign? He's gonna go to a fourth team in his career. I don't think he wants to do that. Yeah. And also, who he wants to play with needs to do a year in college. He's gonna be a senior this year, and no, he's gonna start college. No, wait, he's gonna be senior this year and then college next year. So he's gonna be in the league. He can't be in the league another year. So Brown has to stay 1 more year, and then I think he'll go free agent and sign wherever Brown gets drafted to, right? So that's what I think, and to create more leverage for the Lakers to show that he will stay another season besides this one, on top of this one, and show that he's committed, and have more leverage for the Kyrie Irving trade for the Nets. I think that's what's going to happen. And so what I think is going to happen is Kyrie Irving is going to get traded for, what was it? I think it's going to be like a 3-team trade. Russ goes somewhere else, possibly gets waived. I don't know. I don't care. The Lakers give up an unprotected first-round pick, 2027 first-round pick, and then that's what's going to go on. And Kyrie's going to go to Lakers. They might have to throw in like a Seth or Joe Harris. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I believe Gina Buzz did say they're not done for with this team. Like, this is not going to be the team going to the season. So if there's any team, not even trying to be homer, that's going to change up before the start of the season, I think it will be the Lakers. If it's not that, they will make a trade with Russ's contract to get just players out there like Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, Miles Turner, maybe even the Hornets decided to trade Gordon Hayward, who just don't want to extend. And I believe that's going to happen. The Lakers will make a move. That's my prediction. The Lakers will make a move. If not for Kyrie, it'll be for someone else. And they probably will give up a 2027 first-round pick to make it happen, because they don't want this team going into the season. They made that pretty obvious. They don't want Russ. They want to get rid of Russ.
No.
And
I will say I do have another one I forgot. You said Gordon Hayward. I think Terry and Gordon are getting traded.
To where?
I don't know where. I just think they're getting dumped off.
I think Gordon will get traded too, because they don't want to take him.
And Terry, bro, I don't think they should trade Terry, but I think they will, because I think his contract's expiring, and for sure they don't want to sign him for like a bigger contract. I think another team would actually do that.
And if I were to make another prediction, I would say they're gonna re-sign Trev. I think.
Yeah.
Howard is
insane.
Yeah.
They kind of need him. Miles is gone,
players.
so
but maybe they decide to tank this season, because if this roster they have is not good enough. Maybe do decide to have a fire sale.
Yeah.
Trade Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier. And then as far as those teams go, I don't know if any. I don't think any other team will make a big splash. But yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, they're not bad.
All right, Jen. Thank you for listening today. This has been Relatable. See you back next week. We'll discuss. We should have a topic that we're going to discuss. Or maybe we'll discuss the next NBA stories. Any relatable stories you guys want to hear, such as dating, finance. We also want to increase this podcast, not only NBA, but just talk about life in general. So drop the comments down below. See what you want to hear next time. And yeah, thanks for listening. This has been Relatable. We out.
All right.